What happens to a global power when its citizens no longer believe the system can be fixed from within? In the United Kingdom of 2026, the answer is a deepening fracture between two radical visions of the future. On one side stands the push for reform, a pragmatic, business led overhaul of a broken bureaucracy. On the other is the rising demand to restore, a movement calling for a return to a perceived stolen glory and an ancestral national identity. This isn't just a political debate, it is a declaration of systemic failure. Is Britain witnessing the birth of a new democratic revolution? Or is this the final fracture of a state struggling to define its place in a post globalized world? Welcome to World Strategy Lab. In this strategic briefing, we analyze the British identity crisis and the transition from traditional party politics to sovereign movements. Historically, British stability was anchored by a two-party system that managed decline through incremental change. However, as of April 2026, the public has pivoted to an independent, disruptive plan. The reform doctrine, led by figures advocating for a corporate-style efficiency, frames the crisis as a failure of management. Conversely, the restore movement argues that the very foundation of the state has been compromised, demanding a return to evidence-led history and traditional values. By organizing outside the halls of Westminster, these groups are turning a cost of living crisis into a test of national survival. The strategy revolves around the institutional reality. Under this new landscape, the plan focuses on four pillars: the decentralization of London's power, the reclamation of borders, the demand for direct democracy, and the protection of domestic industry from globalist overreach. This creates a new sovereignty window for the British public. While mainstream media often conflates these movements with extremist fringes, the data shows a more complex reality. A middle class that feels its stolen glory in the form of home ownership and stable services is being liquidated by an indifferent establishment. The structural reality is clear. The maps of the 21st century are being redefined by those who can offer a sense of belonging. The reform versus restore battle proves that in modern grand strategy, a nation is only as strong as the social contract it can uphold. Autonomy is the choice of the bold. As the UK scales its internal rebellion, the real question remains: can a divided Britain find a common path to restoration? Or has the gap between reform and reality become a chasm too wide to cross?